Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. There it is, daylight, 6:11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Going to be a clear day. It's a little chilly right now, but get up to about 81 today. Here we go with Albertson's Canadian Blended Whiskey. Produced by Sazerac for Albertson's grocery chain. I don't know if this one's still produced. It might be. I haven't seen it in years. I've got it in Baton Rouge at Albertson's, the US Highway 61. The one that's further south in Baton Rouge, there's two on the same highway. The one at the corner of Louisiana 40, the intersection of Louisiana 42 and 61. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Airline at Highland Road. All right. $4.99 for a full bottle, huh? County Line Distillers, that's one of those Sazerac aliases. Albertson's Canadian Whiskey, a blend, product of Canada. So, that's it. Albertson's grocery chain was founded in 1939. The whiskey hadn't been around that long, but apparently it has been for many, many decades. We're going up against an oddball, Heir to the Throne, introduced, we don't know when, discontinued, we don't know when, if it has been discontinued even. We know the company Rebel Spirits, who imported it, is no longer around. They got bought out and all that. I can't find any, I just don't know. All I know is it's aged in oak cask, typical. It's 80 proof, 40% alcohol. It has a real cork, and I got it at Walmart for $15.69. Now, you would hope that a $15.50, let's say $15.64 bottle, and that was on closeout, so it was more expensive, would be better than a $4.99 bottle of whiskey, Canadian whiskey. But these things can be tricky. Doesn't always work out. You don't always get your money's worth. Sometimes my experience is the cheaper is the better. That's generally not the case, but it can happen in my experience. That was a long horn whistle, long riverboat horn. I mean, he was just bearing down on that horn. I don't know what's going on. There he goes again. All right. They're both golden to amber appearance. Seem to have similar viscosity. Now the Albertsons has been performing above expectations. All right, so I would not be shocked by anything that happens here. I thought when I paid $4.99, oh, this is going to be the worst, you know. I think the Heir to the Throne has more legs. Albertsons has more like sheeting. There's some legs. All right, so you never know how, like I say, you just don't know how these things are going to turn out. But I have a prediction that it's going to be a virtual tie, which means Heir to the Throne loses, which means it doesn't matter anyway since nobody can get it. Scruffy says, good morning. Craig says, nice to catch a live video from you, Ron. I made a major beer haul last night to Trader Joe's. I'm loving their beers. Have a good weekend and keep up the great work. Thank you, and you too. And I would like to go to Trader Joe's within the next 5 days and to Martin Wine Cellar to kind of restock. My craft beer stocks have gotten very low. No tragedy. It's not like I have a shortage of videos online. Huh? All right. But I would like to re-up with some more stuff. And usually if you go to Martin Wine Cellar about once a month, there'll be some new rotation in there. Doesn't it? I mean, some stuff it'll stagnate, you know, but there'll be some fresh. And same thing with Trader Joe's. You know, you stumble in there and I mean, you stop in there. I mean to say you stop in there and you stumble upon something new every time. So I'm curious. I'm very curious. You curious? Okay. The man is clear in his mind, but his soul is mad. He hates all this. He hates it, but the man's he reads poetry out loud, all right? And a voice. He likes you because you're still alive. He's got plans for you. All right. I'm not going to help you, man. I'm not going to help you. You're going to help him. What are they going to say when he dies? It dies. He dies. Are they going to say he was a wise man? He was a kind man. He had plans. He had wisdom. Oh, that smells kind of heir to the throne-ish, meaning it's kind of that peculiar grain alcohol burn. Morning, Ron. Enjoy the drink, says Joseph. Good morning to you. A lot of wood. But let's go over here because I don't want to call it too early. Now this seems to have some of that honeycomb Sazerac thing. Very similar. Now you'll notice if you go buy a bunch of these bottles, you'll notice that the Sazerac line of Canadian whiskeys have a very similar taste to the Canadian Club, the regular 5-year age Canadian Club. Now, where does Sazerac get their whiskey? They don't say. I'm talking about their Canadian. Could it be from, I don't know. Canadian Club is distilled in Canada, aged, and then it's bottled in the USA. They're shipping it across to Illinois. Who knows? Maybe they're shipping some down to Kentucky. I don't know. I have no, there's no way I could know this, or well, there's no way yet that I've been able to find it out. Who is Sazerac's Canadian whiskey source? That's got to be it. That's got to be Albertson's. Now, some people will tell me stuff like, oh, yeah, it's this. And I'm saying, yeah, but where's the source? Oh, I worked in the industry. I know. Where, although that's probably correct, and I believe what you're saying, okay, for me to go forward with it, I got to have some verification. You know what I mean? I got to have some actual source material. All right. I don't really go with that. I'll say stuff like I heard somebody say it or someone had mentioned it, but I'm not going to say it is definitive. Now, why did I say Michelob beer was 4.8% alcohol? Because somebody told me they heard that? No, because I looked right there on this computer on the Tap Into Your Beer website. It says it. 4.8 primary source. Okay. Now with the Gibsons, I read that that was introduced in 1972. Do I have anything official on that? No, I do not. Do I go and say it? I say no. It is assumed. Perhaps it's from 72. And that's the way I like to see things done, but I don't always see that done on beer reviews, whiskey reviews, wine reviews. A lot of times they'll just say, I didn't do any research. I don't know anything about it. But that's fine. Maybe people are busy, you know, but I would rather if people would research it, but I guess that's my wish isn't going to be the case. Are you an Ensign Red fan, Ron? I don't even know what that is, Joe. All right, I got to go with the taste. I think initially these are not worlds apart. They smell like Canadian whiskey. If you have drunk enough of it, you kind of get an idea of what it has going for it. There's rye there, a little higher than you would expect. kind of a sharp note. Remember I said that about Heir to the Throne? The nose was sort of sharp. This one's sort of soft, like that Sazerac way, the Sazerac way. Although they're not worlds apart, they're not too similar either. Let's go with the taste. That's Heir to the Throne. No, I don't have any secret clues here to tip me off. It's not staged. I don't care who wins anyway. It's just got a sharp, I don't know how to describe this stuff, a stark flavor, a taste profile, like it's like a real sharp knife cutting. It's not abrasive, it isn't harsh. I'm not saying that. It doesn't have much of a finish, a long finish. Some people would like that, you know, it's like real, if you want to say crisp, you know, a whiskey crisp, but that's the way it is. Very concise, a very concise whiskey like that. Canadian whiskey, yes. Oh, ensign red. No, I've never heard of it. I've never even heard of it. Never heard of it. I know about the red ensign, the Canadian flag up until 1965. Which was traditionally the national flag, but not officially, actually. They didn't adopt an official flag till 65, but they just realized they actually never had an official flag. It was just one that they tended to use. Okay, but in practice, it was a national flag, just not technically, legally. This is Sazerac over here. So I'm going to, I mean, I'll tell you why before I call it, but I'm telling you, you saw me call it earlier, right? It's a softer flavor. It's a more fluffy flavor. You said it doesn't make sense. Fluffy doesn't mean a flavor. It does when you're tasting these, because I said the other one is like sharp cutting, and this one's like doughy. Yeah, something like that. Good morning, Ron, says Alex the Beer Master. Good morning to you, Alex. And this one has those flavorings that you get with Sazerac, like wine. It's like they're using sherry, and maybe a touch of bourbon. Could be your high rye bourbon, which wouldn't be no shock coming from Sazerac with their characteristics. Maybe rum for the sweetness. I don't really know. It's a concoction, and you're never going to find out. So there's no real purpose in speculating. Although it's interesting to do so. I'll say one thing about the Sazerac brands. Whether you like them, which I do, or you hate them, which my friend David does, well, at least from one little sip, you certainly can catch up. You can certainly pick up on their character, and once you get used to it, you always get it right. You know, you almost never get it wrong. Ron, what did you eat for breakfast? Alex is obsessed with people's eating habits. They were kind of kidding Alex on the International Beer Review Guild hangout. I had a donut, Alex, a chocolate-covered donut. Very simple. I didn't want to eat much. I'm not going to eat a snack. Trying to get rid of 1.6 pounds, go back to 145 even. It's doable. I got some, and if you want to know, for lunch, I got shrimp and corn soup, homemade by the lady around the corner. And I'll have some spinach salad beforehand with a pimento stuffed olive, some Polish sauerkraut, and some fried onions with some, I can't remember what dressing I'm going to break out next. All right. Now, which one's better? Well, you're up early. Voltron says, I'm not up as early as normal. I didn't get up till 3:45 today, and I went to sleep after 10. But I was like up and awake because I had gone work at the festival, the St. Joan of Arc festival, church fair, the church fair. It was a lot of people there, and I couldn't just go straight to sleep. Couldn't get to sleep. I would have woken up at 2:45 if I hadn't stayed up late. I wanted to watch the Major League Baseball highlights. There are only a few posted. I don't know what's going on with MLB.com today. Something's all screwed up. They've got like 4-game reviews, recaps. They usually last 2.5 minutes, usually like 3 minutes to 4 minutes, 3 to 4, sometimes 5. But then YouTube's showing all those at like 5 to 6 minutes long. I said, they don't ever last that long. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't want to watch 5-minute, 6-minute recaps for all those games. That's 15. That's 14 games. One game was rained out, but 14 games. So I watched 4 already, 3, 4. All right. You say, wow, that's what you do, right? You just every day watch all the Major League Baseball recaps for the whole season. Yes, I try to. Which one do I like better? Now I'm having a hard time deciding. So that means automatically that the Albertsons wins. You say, why is that? Well, think about it. I paid $4.99 for the bottle of Albertsons, and I paid $15.65 for the bottle of Heir to the Throne, and I'm having a hard time deciding which one's better. So when you do the price comparison, the Albertsons is a clear winner. Now, I mean, I could go back and forth and say, well, if you want a more succinct flavor, and this one's more bountiful and doughy and maybe more got some more exotic flavors, whatever you prefer. Well, that's fine. But I'm not tasting one that's so great and the other one is so pitiful, and one is so wonderful and the other one is so inferior. That really is not happening here. So I guess Albertsons wins when you consider the cheap price. Now, here's the only problem with this examination, this taste challenge. The problem is that you, the viewer, have almost no chance. There's almost no probability that you will find either one of these in the store. I doubt you'll go anywhere and find Heir to the Throne. Now, I hope I'll get fooled. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you can find it. It's worth buying. If you see it for $15.65, yeah, I'd pay that. Wouldn't pay more. I wouldn't go over $16, honestly, but it's for a value product, yeah. And Canadian whiskeys tend to be priced at a value level, really. Most of them, you know. So, yeah. Albertsons, yeah, of course, you got to pay $4.99. If you find a bottle of whiskey or rum or gin or brandy for $4.99, you got to buy it. Because even if it's terrible, you haven't lost much. I mean, you can go to Wendy's and buy a hamburger for $5, and half the time they're not even that good. And I'm not singling out Wendy's because a lot of those places are like that. Some gimmick burger, you know, and you say, well, I don't think it's worth $5. But now another thing about this Albertsons, it has a lot of sediment. You'll notice this about Sazerac whiskeys. They contain an incredible amount of sediment. I guess that's their business. You wouldn't call it a business practice. That's their distilling method, that they don't like a lot of heavy filtering, that they like it to be a little dirty, if you want to call it that. Or maybe their filtering mechanisms aren't that good. I don't know, but it doesn't affect the flavor. In fact, they taste good. So if you find a bottle of whiskey for $4.99, a full bottle, you know, a regular, not a half size, you gotta buy it. I mean, you gotta buy it. If I went to some liquor store and I found 10 different whiskeys or whatever, rum, gin, and it was $4.99 a bottle, I'd buy them all. You know, $50 for 10 bottles, I'd buy it. You're not going to see that, but you got to buy it, because even if it's bad, you haven't lost anything. And the chances are it won't be bad. It won't be bad. It won't be bad. May not be great. May not be a champion. You may not find it listed anywhere, but it isn't going to be bad. My experience is it isn't going to be bad. It seems too early. You mean TOO. Too early to be drinking beer. Yeah, I know. I'm not drinking beer. I mean, come on. You think I'm going to drink beer at 6:30 a.m.? No, this is whiskey. Unearthly Zodiac. Joe says, have you been to Miller Park? I've been to every major league ballpark. I've been to a game at every so anybody, if you ask me about any major league ballpark, I've been there, okay? And I can tell you about my experience. So yes, I've been there. I went to a Red Sox Brewers interleague game a couple of summers ago. Great park, in my opinion, and decent beer prices. The first time we went, oh yeah, Miller Park. Oh yeah. Very good. We went there the first time in 2002, actually, 2002, 17 years ago. And then I went back repeatedly. I think the last time there was 6 years ago. Seems like it was just the other day, but it's been, time flies, doesn't it? But I went there at least 4 games, and I'm pretty sure I've been to more than 4 games there. We were impressed with that park because you can get a ticket for $1, or you used to be able to. There's a special line. If you wait in it, you get a ticket for $1. It's seating that's not that good. They figure nobody's going to sit there anyway, and if you pay $1, they're going to make more than that because you're going to buy snacks. You might buy a souvenir. A family of 4 goes for $4, but they end up spending $80 on souvenirs and overpriced concessions, you see, generally. So it's a good way to fill a stadium. You never get the empty seat back, right? It's like a hotel. If you don't rent the room, you never get to rent that room again that night. That night's over with. That's money lost. So Arizona Diamondbacks did that too. When I went there, they had dollar tickets. True story. I know the Miami Marlins have a special right now. If you go to 7-Eleven, you can get a coupon for a $7.11 ticket. $7.11 for Friday night games. But that team's attendance is so abysmal, so terrible, they're doing anything to get people to go. They thought Florida was going to be just a great Major League Baseball state, but that hasn't worked out. They have actually the worst attendance in Major League Baseball, both of those teams. They always average the worst. They're not interested in it. Not to any kind of, if they'd known now what they knew, if they knew then, early to mid 90s, what they know now, there'd be no teams there. But it's there now, and they got these stadiums, and they're not going to get away from it. So, I mean, where are they going to go? It's like they ran out of cities, you know what I mean? Alex says, hey, Ron, I just want to check in and see how you were doing. So I hope you've had a wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you later. Thanks. And I hope you do too. I'm going to walk a half a mile in just a moment. Ever heard of 10-cent beer night? Funny story, true story. Yes, in 1974. Texas Rangers at Cleveland Indians at the Municipal Stadium, Lakefront, whatever that's called, the Cleveland Stadium. Municipal Stadium is a city-run stadium next to the lake. And a big riot broke out. And they said it was because the beer was 10 cents and it encouraged drunk, which would be like $1 today, you see. The value of money has declined so much. But it wasn't really true because they did a 10-cent beer night later that year. They did another event later that year and there was no trouble. So it was just the wrong people showing up, whatever. So they did it later that year with no incidences. Joe says, great parking too at Miller Park. Yeah. I've actually parked for free there. I won't say too much on the internet because I would give away my, you know what I mean? The team might get wise to it. And then, and I'm not talking about illegal parking either. I'm talking it's a legal parking spot. Be hard pressed to get it. But we got it. We were shocked because I said, there's no way we're going to get that spot. That's not going to happen. There it was. I said, park, James, park. And it was right around the corner from the entrance. I couldn't get over that. But generally, that's not going to happen. I know where to park for free at Miami Marlins. Like, almost at the front door. And you say, nah, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, I'm right. Actually, I'm right. And it's a legal spot. And I know what I'm talking about. Voltron said, I wish Indianapolis would get a Major League ballpark, a Major League Baseball team. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Too close to other cities. BT4K said, going to watch the NFL draft and have some cold ones today. Cheers to the weekend. Cheers to y'all. I'm going to watch Major League Baseball starting at 3 Central. I don't think I could sit through 2 games, but I'll be watching it. Yes, the Bob Uecker seats, says Joe. I try to go to Fenway several times a year. We went to Fenway Park in 2003, and it was kind of a dump. Like, it was run down. It needed all kind of work. And I said to my friend, I thought this was some kind of mecca. He said, yeah, it's disappointing. It's like shabby. We gave it a C. We rated it fair. It's fair. We were saying maybe they should have torn it down and built a new one. And then I went back 10 years later. Oh, different story. They had renovated it, really fixed it up nice. I said, well, okay. Now it's really nice, you know. Uncomfortable seats, but I love the history. Yeah, so now the way they did the work on it, well 6 years ago, I said, whoa, this is really something. So Wrigley Field, they constantly renovating it. Pretty soon it will be like a different stadium, you know what I mean? It won't be like the old Wrigley Field. It'll be like much as they change it, it won't be the same, you know. So all right, so this was a washout, not in a bad way, not in a bad way. This was a good thing. This was a good. I just sipped them both down, gone, and I enjoyed them both. And yeah, they're both fine. I mean, there's no downside to either one of these whiskeys. They're not world class, obviously, but who in the world would have thought that anyway? No one. Unfortunately, it's almost like a meaningless video because I said before, you just can't get it. So if you do get it, please contact me on Alcohol Legs and post the photo because we would be shocked. You know, I mean, literally shocked. That's a group we have on Facebook. Anybody can join it. And we have a good time talking about, you know, our hobby. But okay, well, thanks for watching this video production, and I'm going to try to do another one tomorrow.